Kidon unit, the secret arm of Mossad whose targeted assassinations in Iran and around the world have made quite a stir. From Iranian nuclear scientists to bizarre operations in Argentina, Europe, and even the Middle East. Operations whose examples you might have only seen in James Bond movies. Greetings to you all. I'm Elias Farokh here at Persian Trend, and in this video we're going to talk about Kidon, one of Mossad's secret arms that has carried out operations so unbelievable it's really hard to accept. Mossad was established in 1949, but Kidon is an ultra-secret division whose name means bayonet. In Hebrew, this group operates like a sharp sword in the shadows, and in this video, I'm going to share secrets with you that you've probably never heard anywhere else. For example, did you know that Mossad once kidnapped a Nazi criminal from Argentina and executed him? Or that in 2016, they tested 25,000 people for recruitment using a secret puzzle? In this video, I tried to use Persian, Arabic, English, and Hebrew sources. And that's why I've put together a complete and almost unbelievable narrative for you. If you love spy stories and covert operations, this video is for you. First, I want to tell you about the history of Kidon, its strange methods, and its operations in different countries. Before you continue watching the video, comment right now, have you ever heard of the Kidon unit before? And tell me, in your opinion, how can a secret group carry out so many operations around the world and always cover its tracks? We're going to find the answer in this video. Mossad was established on December 13, 1949, based on the idea of David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister. Its original name was the Central Institute for Coordination, and its goal was to coordinate security services like Aman, which is military intelligence, or Shin Bet, which is internal security, as well as Israel's political intelligence service. But what few people know is that from the very beginning, a secret unit called Kidon was formed within Mossad. According to the book Rise and Kill First by Mr. Bergman, Kidon was an elite team of fewer than 40 of Mossad's best agents, both men and women, who were trained for deadly and sensitive operations. Kidon's main activities began in the 1970s after the Munich Olympics tragedy, in which 11 Israeli athletes were killed by the Black September group. An interesting point is that after this incident, Ben-Gurion ordered the creation of an assassination list and sent Kidon after those responsible for the massacre. For example, in Beirut in 1979, they killed Ali Hassan Salameh, known as the Red Prince, with a bomb in his car. Yedioth Aronoth says that this operation was carried out by a secret network called SEI. These are Jews who voluntarily and without pay work for Mossad, and thousands of them are active in Britain and the United States. So why did Iran become their target? Because Israel sees Iran's nuclear program as a major threat. Dagan, the head of Mossad from 2002 to 2011, said in a secret meeting that if we eliminate the masterminds, their program will be crippled. Another secret is that Kidon had operations in Iraq before Iran as well. For example, in 1966, during Operation Diamond, they helped an Iraqi pilot named Munir Redfa escape from Iraq with his family and brought his MiG-21 to Israel. This aircraft was gifted by the Israelis to the Americans, and in a way, it had a huge impact during the Cold War. You know, during the Cold War, any information about the rival was extremely valuable, especially when it came to advanced technologies of that time. Another interesting point is that in 2016, on Israel's Independence Day, Mossad secretly posted a recruitment ad for their cyber division. This ad was an encrypted puzzle that 25,000 people tried to solve, but only a few dozen succeeded and were eventually hired. Kidon reports directly to the Prime Minister, and even the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, has no control over it. Mr. Bergman says this has turned Mossad into a kind of shadow government that reports to only one person. Now let's see how Kidon gets to work. One of their well-known techniques is using sticky bombs and motorcycles. In Iran, the assassination of Masoud Ali Mohammadi in 2009 started with a motorcyclist who attached a bomb to his car, and a few seconds later, the car exploded. This method was also repeated in the assassinations of Majid Shahriari, Dariush Rezainejad, and Mustafa Ahmadi Roshan. An interesting secret about these assassinations is that these bombs use a special type of explosive with very little chemical trace, and according to a Time report, They are triggered by a precise timer in just 3 seconds to cover the agent's tracks. This method hasn't been used only in Iran. In Damascus in 2008, Imad Moghniyeh, one of Hezbollah's leaders, was killed by a bomb hidden in the headrest of his car seat. One thing you might not know is that this bomb was detonated by a satellite signal from a secret base, and Kidon enlisted the help of a Sayanim team to plant it. Der Spiegel says this operation was coordinated with the CIA, and the Katsas team, which are Mossad field officers, monitored the target from Lebanon to Syria. And this shows how Kidon uses technology and its covert networks. For those who don't know, Sayanim are covert Jews living in different countries, and no one might even know they're Jewish or that they're cooperating with Israel at all. For example, imagine that in Britain there are thousands of these people living their everyday lives, but whenever necessary, Mossad can use them to carry out its operations. For instance, if a Mossad agent needs to carry out an operation in Britain and needs to rent a car to follow a target, conduct surveillance, or assassinate someone, these Sayanim will rent a car to him but won't record his information. This way, the agent's trail is lost. Or for example, if a Sayan works at a hotel and they need to eavesdrop on someone or conduct espionage, that Sayan can voluntarily do this for Mossad. It is said that Mossad had a smaller budget compared to the CIA or KGB, but by using these Sayans, it formed a large network of volunteer Jews who could greatly assist in operations, and thanks to this network, it carried out missions that even the CIA couldn't accomplish. Rest assured, there are Sayans like this in Iran as well. Because in the past, Iran had a large Jewish population, many of whom were forced to change their religion, but they still remain committed to Jewish ideals and love Israel. And it's possible that they might assist the Israelis in certain operations. Of course, aside from those who are simply interested in Israeli money or the resources that Mossad provides them, these people might even be Muslims or even members of Hezbollah, but still play a significant role in Mossad operations. Another very interesting method is the use of robotic weapons. In the assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in 1999, a 1-ton automatic machine gun equipped with a camera and satellite fired 13 rounds and then destroyed itself. One of the strange details of this assassination is that the weapon was brought in with a pickup truck and was controlled remotely by an operator in another country from 10 kilometers away. It has been rumored that in the assassination of Mr. Mahmoud al-Mabhouh in Dubai in 2010, an electric shock device was used in his hotel room, which he had locked from the inside, but no evidence of it was found. The police only found a DNA sample and a fingerprint, but these leads went nowhere. A less well-known method is the use of unusual poisons. For example, in 1978, the Kidon killed Wadi Haddad, one of the leaders of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, with poisoned chocolate in East Germany. This poison was such that it took several months for Haddad to die, and no one realized who was behind it. Let's talk about Kidon's operations in Iran. Between 2009 and 2011, 4 nuclear scientists, Messrs. Masoud Ali Mohammadi, Majid Shahriari, Dariush Rezaeinejad, and Mostafa Ahmadi Roshan, were killed by sticky bombs or shootings. Faridun Abbasi also survived an assassination attempt. The assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in 1999 with that robotic machine gun was the peak of Kidon's operations. Al-Quds Al-Arabi reports that this operation was planned over 8 months and coordinated by a 20-member team across several countries. A strange secret is that in 2024, Ahmadinejad said that since 2003, a Mossad spy had been in Fakhrizadeh's team, passing his information to the Israelis. Now, let's move on to a tragedy in Norway. In 1973, Kidon was after Ali Hassan Salameh, one of the leaders of Black September, but by mistake, they killed a Moroccan waiter named Ahmed Bouchiki. Who was behind this? An interesting point is that the agents used fake Canadian passports, and after 6 of them were arrested, Israel was forced to pay compensation. This incident caused Kidon to become inactive in Europe for a while, and after reviewing their methods, they returned to Europe with new approaches and continued their operations. And another point is that it shows even Kidon or even Mossad can sometimes make foolish mistakes that become a scandal for them. It's not like we can say that only certain intelligence agencies make mistakes and do foolish things. In the whole world, in all intelligence organizations, mistakes can happen, including Mossad, and some of them might even be a bit funny. In Jordan in 1977, Kidon tried to assassinate Khaled Mashal, the leader of Hamas, by poisoning his ear. The Israelis had hidden the poison in a device resembling a pen, but the operation was exposed and 2 of their agents were arrested. One interesting detail about this operation is that the poison used was a substance called levofentanyl, which is not lethal for up to 48 hours, but after 48 hours, it kills anyone who has been exposed to it. Since Mashal survived, Netanyahu was forced to send the king on a special flight and even release Sheikh Ahmed Yassin as compensation. The Israeli newspaper Haaretz says that this failure caused Kidon to rely more on technology in Iran rather than field agents. There was another historic operation in Argentina. In 1960, Kidon tracked down Adolf Eichmann, a Nazi criminal, in Buenos Aires. A 5-person team using espionage and a safe house took him by plane to Israel and executed him. One strange point is that Argentina considered this an infringement of its sovereignty, and even the United Nations expressed concern. But Israel responded. Eichmann had to be brought to justice. This operation showed that Kidon recognizes no boundaries in achieving its goals, and its reach extends even to other continents. The assassinations in Iran created a huge wave. Iran has always accused Mossad, and after the assassination of Fakhrizadeh, it also vowed revenge. But so far, nothing has happened. I want to share a very strange point from Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the former president of Iran. In 2024, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad told CNN Turk that we have established a special unit to fight Mossad, so it can identify, arrest, and even assassinate Mossad agents inside Iran. But to everyone's surprise, sometime later we found out that the head of this very anti-Mossad unit was himself a Mossad agent, which led to numerous operations being carried out in Iran and even exposed. Besides that poor guy who was the head of this section and got exposed, 20 other people were also identified who were collaborating with Mossad in various sensitive parts of the system. And all of them together formed a network that was providing massive amounts of invaluable information to the Israelis. In my opinion, aside from the networks that have been uncovered, there are still a great many other networks inside Iran that continue to leak Iran's secret information to the Israelis. Does anyone have any doubts about this? If you do have doubts, go ahead and write so we can discuss it together. Besides Iran, Kidon has also carried out operations in other countries. For example, in Norway, that 1973 disaster led the Norwegian government to file an official complaint, and Mossad had to pay compensation. Of course, the amount was never disclosed. In Jordan, the failed attempt to assassinate Mashal damaged diplomatic relations. And one secret is that the king arrived in Amman within 2 hours on a private jet to make sure Mashal stayed alive. BBC Persian says these mistakes taught Kidon to operate more covertly in Iran. For example, by using robotic weapons that leave no trace of the agents and only leave behind an explosion with burnt remains. The bigger consequence is that Kidon has set off a cycle of violence. In Iran, the arrest led to forced confessions that went nowhere, and the Ministry of Intelligence was unable to find Kidon's real trail. In Lebanon, the assassination of Mugnieh led Hezbollah to build bombs similar to Kidon's. And even in 2024, they fired a Qadr-1 missile at the Mossad headquarters in Tel Aviv. An interesting point is that in 2018, Kidon stole 100,000 nuclear documents from a secret warehouse in Tehran and handed them over to the US and Europe to increase the pressure, an operation that Netanyahu personally praised. Another effect is that after these assassinations, countries increased their security but still couldn't stop Kidon. For example, in Dubai, they found the agent's DNA and fingerprints, but since 26 fake British, Irish, and Australian passports had been used, this information led nowhere. Another secret is that in 2017, Kidon launched an investment fund for cyber technology, and even now it supports companies whose names nobody knows. In this video, I tried to give you information that you probably hadn't heard before, from operations in Iran, Norway, the UAE, Jordan, or other places around the world. Kidon has shown that, like the tip of a spear, it can strike at the heart of its opponents. But in practice, this doesn't necessarily mean that eliminating someone will stop those plans. In your opinion, has Kidon so far succeeded in eliminating Israel's enemies and bringing security to Israel, or has it only escalated the cycle of violence while the hostilities persist? I'm Elias Farkham. This is The Front. I read all your comments and respond to them as much as possible. Until the next video, take care.